What are we expecting to see from Nvidia stock in Q3? Currently I'm cleaning my wheels, but in a second I'm going to be heading inside to find out what the analysts reckon will happen with Q3 with Nvidia's Q3 report, and I'm going to give some of my personal opinions onto whether or not you should be buying, selling or holding Nvidia stock with the Q3 earnings report coming up. Look at that. So Nvidia, they are set to release their 2024 Q3 results on the 20th of November after market close. However, the true question is, when should you be buying in, before or after this announcement? Often after a Q3 or any quarter announcement, we can tend to see rises between 10 and 50%. This can also be decreases within price, so it can go either way. So this is what Nvidia estimate their Q3 to be. So they estimate a $18 billion increase for this quarter, an increase of 74% on their revenue. But importantly, they seem to reckon they will be getting a 206% year-on-year growth, which is a ridiculous amount. However, this is starting to plateau a bit now, with the earnings per share being up by 1,274%, which is still just absolutely crazy. So Nvidia seem to think that this will be up 34% from Q2, with record data center revenue of 14.51 billion, up 41% from Q2 and up 279% from a year ago. Ignore my really crap highlighting skills, but in this statement the CEO says, "Our strong growth reflects the broad industry platform transition from general purpose to accelerated computing and generative AI." So let's take a look at Nvidia on a daily chart. As of today, it is Friday the 15th and we are down 2.55% as of recording. With the PE ratio being at 67, this shows that the stock is still considered undervalued. And the earnings per share at 2.13, this is relatively strong also. Nvidia basically wants and they also think this is correct, that their share price will increase 50% year on year. So you should be able to expect a 50% increase on average throughout the years within your investment into Nvidia. And they currently pay out a dividend yield of 0.03%, so pretty much nothing. So, I mean, if you've got a lot in the company, you'll see it, but for us mere mortals, we're not going to notice. And quickly taking a look at the year-to-date chart, we can see this 50% increase has been absolutely obliterated. On the year-to-date chart, we are up 188.74% as of today. Ridiculous returns. One thing that is very important to note with these quarterly reports is their forecast for the next quarter. In this case, it would be Q4. We saw this in an example with AMD where their Q3 wasn't awful, but they had really poor estimates for their Q4, which just absolutely obliterated their stock. And it just hasn't since been able to recover. As you see here, in a month, they have lost 17.95% of their shares, or shares value, which is just like not ideal as an investor. So that's something to look out with Nvidia for, as they are very similar industries. Will Nvidia be affected in the same way as AMD? I feel as if a lot of analysts might see the light within that story, but it's hard to say as Nvidia's market cap is just significantly higher. So that is one thing that I am concerned about with buying in before the Q3 report, as like I said, they are very similar companies. There might be a lapse in judgment for their Q4 outlook. But with that in mind, I'll take a quick look at the financials surrounding Nvidia. I have actually done a video going in depth into Nvidia's financials, essentially looking into whether it's stable going into 2025 after Q4. So go give that a watch. I'll put it in the top right of the screen right now. Yeah, top right. But their financials were outstanding, so I'll save you the hassle of going over if you're not massively interested in that. Their financials are stupendous. I've never said that word ever, but stupendous. Oh, I've misclicked. So I do currently hold Nvidia stock, and I do plan on buying in more. But quickly, before I get into what I will be doing personally, I'm going to quickly go into Nvidia on MSM Finance. On here it says it is expecting a increase and a drop, which I personally think is a bit weird. I don't personally agree with that. In my mind, I see it going something a bit more like this. Right, I'm going to try draw. I see it going a bit more like that, essentially. All the way up. Well, not all the way up. That's a lie. I see it going up to around 170 after the new year. Not right now. I do see an initial dip. I kind of am saying the opposite-ish of what they are saying here on MSN. But I will not be buying before the Q3. Yes, that's right. Q3 report drops. Purely for the reason that AMD dropped significantly and they are in very similar industries. Looking a bit further down the page, we can see that 63 analysts say it is a strong buy, which I do believe is correct. I believe in the long term, this is definitely a really good buy, and I feel as if it will always be. I feel it will definitely start plateauing from here, and it will start to reach their target of 50% year on year. But because I already have a relatively large position of my portfolio within Nvidia, I don't see the need for me to be investing before Q3. There is just the risk of it just dropping with regards to their Q4 outlook. So that is my opinion on Nvidia before and after Q3. Please do let me know your comments on this in the comments down below. I'll be sure to read them all because I on average get about 2 comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe. It is important to say I'm not a financial advisor. These are all just my own opinions, but that's pretty obvious. You should always do your own research before buying into a stock or any sort of market. This is due to the fact that your capital will be at risk when you invest. And if you're doing it wrong, that's not a good thing. But that's pretty obvious. So like I said, like, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video.